Welcome to BitBoy Crypto. My name is Ben. Guys, today we're going to be talking about some stuff that is very serious. And when we are discussing these people, you need to understand that the people I talk about in this video, they're very dangerous. And they've managed to skirt around laws, criminality, multiple times. And this person we're talking about tonight, Dan Friedberg. He is the mastermind, architect, puppet master of the entire FTX, Alameda, SBF shell game. And how do we know that? Well, number one, he's the general counsel for FTX and has been. But number two, he's done this before. Now, what's really interesting is a lot of us assume that when you do things on the internet, what happens to them? They stay there forever. You're marked. You do stuff on social media. You have articles about you. It's there forever. Everything's on the internet. Well, it's not exactly true. That's the way it is for you or me. But for one Mr. Dan Friedberg or one Mr. Greg Ellison, father of Caroline Ellison, basically the long and the short of it is all you have to do is just tell hackers or press a button or whatever you do. You scrub the entire internet of your existence. And that's exactly what Daniel Friedberg has managed to do. If you look up Dan Friedberg or Daniel Friedberg, you can't really find any pictures of him. Well, I really encourage everyone to go to my Twitter, BitBoy_crypto. I'm sure you're all following me, obviously. You get like 80,000 followers in the last 4 days. But I want you to go there and I want you to check out the pinned tweet. The pinned tweet is an article. Now, I want to talk about this article. A lot of this information in this article came from me. A lot of it came from another gentleman. A lot of it came from some other sources. But it was all compiled together to tell the story of who Dan Friedberg is. Now, here's what's so crazy. The original publication of this article went out on a website that was part of a larger news network. Within 30 minutes of me posting the link, I kid, this is true. Within 30 minutes of me posting the link, the entire news network went down. Their servers were attacked. These are the best hackers in the world that work for FTX, that have worked for Daniel Friedberg. He's been actually doing things on the internet that people thought were impossible for many years, almost 20 years, actually, to be honest with you. There's also some connections, by the way, from Dan Friedberg to Mt. Gox. So if you really start digging into that, you might find he might have actually been involved in that as well. But I want you to go look at that pinned tweet. I want you to read that article. You can do that right after we get off of this video here. Then I want you to scroll down. There's actually a post where I put 3 pictures of Dan Friedberg, including his LinkedIn page. Guess what? LinkedIn page? Gone. Doesn't exist anymore. Boom, gone. He scrubbed the entire internet of his existence. There's also a video within that article. So the article was then posted to a Facebook group. So that way you could read the entire thing and not have to worry about getting taken down, because it can't get taken down off of Facebook. In this world of internet scrubbing, you have to basically learn ways to be able to post things so the hackers can't get them and they can't take them down. Because Dan, I'm sorry, you can't run for me. You can't. I don't know if this has been something that's been clearly shown over this SBF debacle, but when I get you in my sights, you're done. Our army's too big. The BitSquad is too big. And guess what? Now they're all pissed and they're coming after you, Dan, so you better get ready. So you can go find those pictures. There's actually a video contained in that article of Dan admitting that they counterfeit coins. Now, what does this mean? Well, we're going to get into much more of this in a later video, because to me, this is the most damning accusation of the entirety of the FTX system. Why? Because this is counterfeiting. Once you get into counterfeiting, you now are getting into tax evasion. You're now getting into wire fraud. You're now getting into RICO laws. You're now getting into racketeering. That is the level of criminality that these people are on. So why would they counterfeit coins? To control the supply on the exchanges. That's how they were able to manipulate prices. If you want to short a coin to zero, what would you do? You counterfeit a bunch of coins, you put them on the exchange, basically paper Bitcoin or paper FTT, whatever you want to, all of FTT was paper, but basically like paper Bitcoin, kind of like derivatives. And so what you do is you flood the market, and then all of a sudden there's a gigantic supply. When you have a huge supply and the demand remains the same, the price goes down. So that's exactly what they were doing. There's a video of him talking about this, and we've got so much more evidence of this Dan Friedberg. We have audio clips, we have emails, we have text messages, we have everything. This guy's going away for sure. However, you would have thought this would have happened before, that Dan Friedberg would have gone to prison before. Why? Dan Friedberg was also the architect. We're going to show you the similarities here, which is really amazing. He was the architect of the ultimate bet, absolute poker ultimate bet cheating scandal in the poker world, in the online poker world in the early 2000s. This was actually the largest poker scandal of all time. See, somebody there at Ultimate Bet had managed to come up with something they called God Mode. Now, God Mode was where you could enter into a game of online poker and you could actually see the other person's cards. Now, they used a very similar model to FTX. What did they do? They managed to get some of the largest poker influencers at the time, Mike the Mouth Mattisau, Phil Hellmuth. Both of these guys did promotions and sponsored content around Ultimate Bet, trying to get people to come there. But just like we see with a lot of crypto influencers, that talked about FTX or BlockFi or whatever, they ended up with a bunch of egg on their face. Not only did their credibility go down because they promoted this obvious scam, well, not obvious, what's obvious at the time, but they were also losing money. Mike Mattisau got taken for over $1 million from people from Ultimate Bet that were running God Mode on him. He said it was crazy. People would just call him and be like, hey, Mike, you want to jump online and play some heads up? He'd be like, yeah, sure. He didn't know they could see his cards. So once again, the faces. Look at this face. It is beautiful, I know. The faces, the ones with the voices, we are the ones that get used. We are the ones that get preyed upon by the people with no faces, by the anonymous accounts, by your Dan Friedbergs that have been wiped away from the internet. No one knows this guy exists. You're too busy blaming people that FTX sponsored, which was not me, by the way. I was one of the few people that FTX never reached out to sponsor. You wanna know why? Because I made fun of freaking SBF's haircut the entire time. So a lot of y'all would have criticized me for making fun of his haircut. It's actually probably what saved crypto. This billionaire bad haircut is what possibly saved crypto. So think about that. But look at the similarity between Ultimate Bet and FTX is really astounding when you look at it. Number one, the shell game architecture of companies that were created, the shell companies that were created to insulate the main company away from being found out, okay? The corporate infrastructure, number one, very similar between Ultimate Bet and also between FTX. Also, the way they promoted, they used influencers, right? Get the word out. People trusted. They paid people off. Don't look at us in a negative light. We got all these pro crypto people that are on board with us. Your Kevin O'Leary's even. Big names, not just your local crypto influencers, okay? But people that are Tom Brady, Steph Curry, same exact model, okay? Look at what else they did. Here's where things get really, really, really crazy. If you look at the God Mode idea, which is, in poker, you can see the other player's cards. Well, what was FTX? FTX was trading against their customers because they could see their customers' trades before they executed. They knew where all the stop losses were. They knew where all the buy orders were. They knew where all the sell orders were. And they thought that would be enough for them to win. But unfortunately, what they did is they took all the customers' funds and they used it in other trades on other exchanges, and Alameda kept making worse and worse trades, and the bear market eventually basically got them, right? But it's the same model. We can see what you're doing, and we're going to take advantage of that. Now we get into the fail-safe, right? So a lot of people are wondering, what happened, I guess it was last night with this hack, or was it 2 nights ago? I can't remember when it was. Was it last night? I can't remember. Whenever this hack started happening, this has all happened so fast, obviously. 2 nights ago, I believe. When the hack occurred and $300 to $400 million were moved, some of it got sent to Binance, some of it got sent to Vitalik, and people are wondering what in the world was going on there. Well, I know initially when all this was going on, I was saying it was Sam, which would have made sense because I know Sam is a hacker and he has done a lot of hacking, and from the inside it would make sense. No. It was Sam, but it wasn't. This was a mechanism that was built into FTX as a platform. Just like I was told this over a week ago. I was told, watch what happens. There's a fail-safe within FTX that when everything hits the fans, they will self-destroy all the data. That's what this was about. This was not about the money moving, okay? It's $300 or $400 million. We're talking about possibly a $50 billion hole when you consider all of the different companies that were involved with FTX and Alameda. $50 billion hole potentially, okay? So there was a fail-safe built in to where when they moved that money, the internal data systems of FTX have been decimated and destroyed. That's what this was about. This was about an internal combustion of FTX as an exchange. Now the amount of information, and we're getting more details about this, so I really can't break down exactly the mechanism by which this data was destroyed, but I was told a week ago this was going to happen, and here it is happening. A lot of times when I've been told this stuff and I'm telling you, and people are saying, just give us all the info, I got to let some of it play out. This played out, and now it's going to make it extremely hard for investigators to find the data that they are looking for. It's gone. A lot of the trading data is now gone that they were looking for. So what did Ultimate Bet do? Ultimate Bet had the same thing. Ultimate Bet also had a fail-safe that deleted tons of data. And this is why Daniel Friedberg was able to still continue operating as a lawyer in the state of New York after he was involved in the biggest scam in online poker history. And then he was able to become the general counsel for FTX. It's the same exact scam. This guy is the puppet master. He's the infrastructure builder. Now, are there people above Dan Friedberg in this scam? Well, I guess that's for us to figure out. Right now, that's as far as we know for sure that it goes. And guess what else? What else is, in the Ultimate Bet scandal, they also managed to frame one person for everything. That's what they're doing to SBF now. SBF is now going to become the fall guy, the patsy, if you will, for this entire thing. And SBF's a bad person. He needs to go to prison for sure. But this runs much deeper than just Sam. And I believe this runs much deeper than Friedberg. However, told you guys before, I ain't getting murdered on this, so I don't know how high this goes up the ladder, but once certain names start coming in the conversation, I'm gonna need y'all to do the work. I got a family, okay? We're here trying to get by. I'm not trying to get forget the exact language for it, Epstein or something like that. But the fact is all this is out in the open now. You guys can go check my Twitter and get a lot of the updates on it. I've got a lot of FTX employees now, whistleblowing, coming over to my DMs, wanting to tell me some of the stuff that they've witnessed. So all this is going to be coming out. Even some of the lawyers very close to Friedberg didn't even know this was going on. So we know that this is a Friedberg gang. They call it the Gang of Four. It's your Amy Wu, your Gary Wang. Gary Wang also heavily involved in this. Caroline and SBF. They're going to pin them as these are the 4 people responsible for everything. However, it goes much higher up the chain. It doesn't go lower down the chain. I believe Sam Trabacco, I believe he knew what was happening. Brett Harrison, I believe Brett Harrison, I want to say he did not know. I want to say he did not know. That's why he was so willing to give us a bunch of information. It's hard for me to say exactly how high or up, how up the ladder or down the ladder this goes. But I can tell you for sure, the Daniel Friedberg has got to be included in all of this, and he is the mastermind architect of all of the infrastructure. There are some good. Ryan Miller is an attorney that works there underneath Friedberg. I've been told he's a good guy. I've been told he has been totally naive about all of this. He's a Boy Scout. So there are people within this inner circle that are not bad, that were tricked, that were naive to what was going on. Should they have known? That's a different question. And I think really what I found in crypto, for sure, if you guys watched my video I made 2 Sundays ago about, I'm sorry, about some videos that we had made, I think what you'll find is that a lot of us are really trusting, and we give people a lot of chances, and we really want to give people the benefit of the doubt because we're trusting. That doesn't work in crypto. We've got to be more skeptical at all times. We got to do that as a community. So, all right, guys, let me know what you guys think about that. Drop your comments down below. There's a lot to process. Go make sure to check out my Twitter and go check out my pinned tweet. Let me know what you guys think about that. That's all I got. Be blessed. Good boy out.